Hello everyone. Today is Red Badger of Courage here, and today is the day I start my Cassette Beats Let's Play. I'm not sure if I can do a 100% run. There's still stuff even I haven't been able to defeat. But yeah, I've been fiddling with this a bit to try and get it. I'm a pasty fella, so gotta find the. There we go. And visor. Let's do brown. I don't think the eyes actually matter, but you know what? Alright, this is our fella right here. He looks nice and dapper, don't you think? Alright, let us begin. We go into, I guess, some sort of black hole, or I guess it's not black, it's like psychedelic hole. And we find ourselves washed up on a beach. What sort of beach it is, who's to say? We can look around a bit. Boing, 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 boing. And then we can dash. It's not a very good dash, but we have a chest up here we can open. It's got wood. Didn't even have to punch a tree. We keep going along here. I reckon this is where we need to go. There's a gate here, but it is locked. I don't have a key, so I'm sort of stuck, just meandering about. Oh hey, there's a town. Maybe someone here can help us figure out where we are. Oh my god, the traffic cones are revolting. Hey stranger, don't make any sudden moves. I will not do any sort of Scottish accent because I can't, and I can do, well, I can kind of, I can't really do accents. I can imitate certain words or phrases I've heard in an accent, but I cannot speak in an accent. So everyone's just gonna sound like generic American. Sorry about that, folks. Hey stranger, don't make any sudden moves. Traffic crabs don't take kindly to strangers, or anyone for that matter. Here, take this. We get ourselves a cassette, the game's namesake. Okay, quick question. What's your aesthetic? Alright, this determines our starter. Our starter choices are Banshee, one of your starter options, a mixed attacker with a leaning towards physical that becomes more prominent as it evolves. Banshee is notable for being slightly tankier, even as it evolves, it becomes slightly tankier. Starting with the passive ability Sheer Luck. Sheer Luck increases the evasion of the user the lower their health is, which further helps Bansheep's survivability early on, compared with adding with Bite to heal, and Bansheep is going to be sticking around for a while. If you prefer a more long-term playstyle that focuses primarily on defensive tactics, it leans in well to learning elemental walls as well as more defensive abilities. Notable moves: its final level up move it learns Cotton On guarantees that if a move can miss, it will on the next turn, as well as its first level up, its equivalent to Bon Bon Blast being battering ram, which lowers the target's accuracy. All in all, Bansheep is useful for if you really want to stick around a while and be tanky. Or Candevil, much like Bansheep, is a mixed attacker, however it has a leaning towards ranged attacks that becomes more prominent as it evolves. Its most notable moves include, of course, its passive Sugar Rush, which increases its speed to lower its health. It seems to lean more towards a Glass Cannon playstyle, not really having as much staying power comparatively, but it is able to put the whopping on things pretty quickly. Bon Bon Blast, for example, being its primary form of making sure that its attacks hit. Overall, if you're going for a more aggressive playstyle, I recommend Candevil. On my personal playthrough, I went with Spooky, but I think this time, to be a little more, have a little more variety, I'll go with Sweet. Yeah, I can see that. In that case, take this. I'm not a sweet person, I'm actually a very bitter and salty person. Our first bio. Candevils possess the peculiar ability to generate sugary sweets from their bodies, which can be used as gifts or as ballistic projectiles. Some find this quite charming, whereas others argue that it's actually very weird and gross. Hey, candy can make pretty effective ballistic projectiles, just saying. We'll unlock the other bio as we level up the tape. Location, bootlegs. Bootlegs are a mechanic that'll come in later. They are they're basically this game's equivalent to shinies, whereas instead of being a they're a different color, but they're also a different type, which affects the moves they can learn and so on. Alright, now just pop that in your cassette player, put on the headphones, and press play. Might be a little weird, but follow my lead. As you can see, our new mysterious companion has a beast of her own, which is Sirenade, a range support focused beast, learning lots of moves to help buff her allies and disrupt her enemies, as well as plenty of AoE moves to hit both enemies on the field. Being a ranged attacker, she is useful to bombard the enemy if whatever she's supporting happens to go down. Overall, she gains access to plenty of useful abilities such as echolocation and broadcast, which allow her to multi-target even with moves that can't multi-target normally, and just will serve you pretty well throughout the adventure, especially so after she evolves. Your turn, don't be shy. Our first transformation. Just breathe. You'll adjust in just a moment. Right. Let's give him hell. This is a lot of hype for what amounts to a traffic cone with legs. Alright, our two moves we got are Sugar Smack, which is a basic melee attack, and Sugar Rush, which is a passive ability that is unique to the Candevil line. It increases their speed, the amount of HP they've lost. Alright. As you can see, you can target yourself with abilities or you're out with attacks, and it make sure you pay attention to where your mouse is facing when you do click on it. So there you go. Traffic Grab. This one we're going to use. As you can see, Sirenade has Spit, a ranged attack, Dodge, which raises the user's evasion, and Call for Help, which is a chance to summon a temporary ally. As you can see, the basic Smack and Spit uses no energy at all. Smack. And kind of one-shots targets. As they level up, the first 5 stars each give a unique, or not a unique move, but each one, the first 5 stars have a set move that the creature can learn, the monster can learn, and then past that it cycles through random from all stickers that a monster can learn. In this case, we get Bonbon Blast, which hits one target and lowers their evasion. It's useful for consecutive hits because you can hit them once, lower their evasion, and then pretty much guarantee follow-up hits due to the accuracy being increased. And plastic. Plastic is one of the materials that we use as currency in this world. The Lego pieces. You handled yourself pretty well there. What's your name?
I'm Kaylee.
This is Kaylee. Nice to make your acquaintance, Red Badger. Anyway, we should probably get you warmed up before you freeze to death in your pajamas. Wait, so I just got yanked into this world in my PJs? That's rude. I'm gonna go find who started it, and I'm gonna complain to the manager. What do you think? Pretty quaint, right? Where am I? Welcome to Harbor Town. Your new home. But I already have a home! Right. Yeah, sorry. I'm not very good at this part. I don't know how best to break the news. You're stuck here. We all are. I don't feel so great.
Wonderful.
And I just go kaput. Dr. Pensby. Ah, wonderful, you're awake. Kaylee gave me quite a fright when she came knocking at my door. You had me scared for a moment, Badger. Should have just called myself Badger. Oh well. I don't think it's anything serious. Transforming for the first time is quite a shock to the psyche. Anyway, Harbor Town happened to have a spare home available for you, so this is your place now. Where on earth is this place? On Earth? Kaylee, you haven't told him? Sorry, I should have. Not to info dump on you, but you're on an island called New Wirral. It's not strictly on Earth. At least that's what we think. Is there a way back home? I'm afraid not. I'm so sorry. Castaways have been trying to get back to their worlds for a century, and none have succeeded. But you'll be okay. There's community in Harbor Town, and we help each other out. It's not a bad life. And it's safe, apart from the monsters. Like the one you fought before. Yeah, I'm actually going to go on a patrol soon. If you'd like to join me, meet me by the gate. The one just over the bridge we crossed to come into town. In the meantime, feel free to say hi to your new neighbors. I'm pretty sure word has already gotten around that there's a new lad in town. We also fetched some clothes for you, though they might be a bit out of fashion for your era, but it's all we have. My era? Sorry, I'm info-dumping. I'll catch you soon, right? We can talk more then if you'd like. My clinic is nearby if you need a checkup. Feel free to visit. This all must be a lot to take in, but we all went through the same thing once. Our new quest. This is the world we live in. Speak to Kaylee at the Harbor Town East entrance. Ranger Handbook. Where's my clothes? Alright, let's see what clothes I can get. T-shirt, jacket, vintage dress, vest, jacket, t-shirt, apron, vest, jacket, poncho, moonstone, sweater, t-shirt too. Where's the... I guess we'll have to do... None of this is OSHA compliant. Alright, neon green. There we go. If we want to work here, we gotta be OSHA compliant. Alright, we're all set to go out and about. Wait, I can change my name. Let me just be Badger from here on out. Calling someone Red Badger just sounds weird. Do we got any mail? That's for entering codes. I do not have any codes at the moment, I don't think. Alright. Let us go walk around a bit. See what all we can find here.
Hello, sweetie.
Hello, sweetie. If you're here to sign up with the Rangers, you just missed... Ianth? Eonth? Someone correct me on that spelling or pronunciation. She'll be at the outpost in the park if you go north from the outskirts. You won't miss it. Alright. My little speedy. Zoop. 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 There we go. Zoop. 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 Hey again, Badger. Yeah, I know, I changed my name. Are you feeling a little better? You know, you held your own last time we fought together. So, well, I've been given an errand and need a helping hand. You think you'll be able to help me out? Sure! Glad to hear you're up to the task. Do you see that path there?
Well,
There was some kind of quake or monster activity last night. You can see the cracks on the ground. We're gonna check that path and make sure it's safe for crossing. Here, take the key to the gate. Alright, let's open the gate. Let's just see a little more around here. Doesn't seem to be anything around much. Alright, well, I suppose we gotta go where it tells us to go. Which part of the map? Oh yeah, Harbor Town outskirts. Harbor Town Beach and Harbor Town outskirts have a lot of the same monsters. Alright, the enemies on Harbor Town Beach are... It's like riding a bike. Except, you know, if the bike transformed into a pastel horn devil. And also you're the bike. You see that creep with boots? It's a spring heel, and it's going to get aggressive with you if you get any closer. So you're going to get closer, of course. Yes, of course, like, you know, great, brilliant idea. Alright. Let's pick a fight with this fella just minding his own business. This here is our first new monster. This is Springheel. This mischievous little goblin is a surprisingly speedy and has a high attack for how early in the game you get it. He is definitely the glass cannon of glass cannons, focusing on melee attack that persists into its evolution, as well as having overall lower defensive stats. So, you know, in a group, you're going to want to target him first to get him out of the field as fast as possible because he can rack up a lot of damage, alongside having a selection of status effect abilities that, such as you've seen, Peekaboo and Jump Scare, which significantly lower the accuracy and can cause targets to flinch, making it overall hard to hit him once he gets up and going. So rely primarily on locking him down and taking him out as early as possible, or he will clean house. Being a beast type as well allows him to hit and receive neutral damage across the board. We're going to fight. Action points. As you see, the orange squares at the top are action points. We have AP. In essence, we have AP for different moves, use different amounts of AP. You gain 2 AP a turn, and if you don't have a move AP for it, you know, basic energy mechanics. And an extra one if they land a type advantage attack. So playing into type advantages and disadvantages has a little more to it than just, you know, smacking and smacking them. You can plan up ahead and save up AP for your most powerful attacks by using weaker low AP moves. Anyways, our first enemy is Springheel, and we are going to punch him in the face and spit on him. Are you sure he's the creep here? You've taken a bit of a beating, but your monster form can take it. The green bar represents the monster form's health, and the red bar is yours. If a form loses all its health in a fight, its tape will break and need repairing. Not only that, but any extra damage from the attack that broke it will apply to your health, the red bar. That's one of my least favorite mechanics in this game. I think spillover damage is a cool concept, in a sense, but if you get hit with bad luck, you can just completely get taken out of a fight. As you can see, if both of us lose all our health, we'll have to retreat back to Harbor Town. Got that?
Right.
Alright, let's crack on. Alright, we'll try Bon Bon Blast. It'll probably miss, but you know what? We'll spit again just in case. Yeah. It plays the animation even if you miss, so Spring Heel, as you can see, is a very speedy boy, so even halfway down to health, Sugar Rush still isn't causing me to outspeed him. As you can see, Sirenade leveled up, and we get Sonic Boom, which is a useful AoE attack, a wind-based AoE, and we get 4 different crafting materials.
Yeah.
Nice work! That elevator should be functioning. There'll be a switch around here to turn it back on. Oh, I know where the switch is. There we go.
Hey.
We've unlocked Kaylee as our partner. And with her comes the monster Sirenade. Sirenades are particularly loud creatures and can amplify their own singing voices, though their microphone tails and wings, through their microphone tails and wings. They don't seem to have much awareness as to whether or not their singing is too loud for those around them. As it should be. I will accept no other. This is the world we live in. Alright, here we have 2 new monsters. And a campfire. Alright, let's heal up. Kaylee tells about her various ventures helping out the people of Harbor Town. As you can see, resting costs wood. The further away you are from Harbor Town, the more wood it costs, although it's kind of a negligible change, honestly. Who dis? I haven't seen you around here before. Let me guess, you washed up pretty recently, didn't you? Oh, is that a cassette player you're holding? Here, take these. Rewinds! You can use those to rewind any monster tape you have on the go. Stay safe out there, okay? Okay, so rewinds will are full restores. Ooh, that wind. Come on, this way. Oh. Darn, we gotta walk a certain path. That's disappointing. On the plus side, it lets us introduce the 2 new monsters. Here, do you see that monster? There must be a way to get it to come over here. Alright. This gives us 2 new monsters to see, actually. We have Squirey, a little pangolin-looking fella. Overall, middling stats, or even stats across the board, with a slight focus towards melee attack and defense. Overall, he is very useful for sticking around. Gaining access to Copper Chop, which is useful for taking out those pesky metal and earth types, as well as Parry Stance, which allows you to reflect any melee attack back at you. If you choose to go for a more offensive lead, you may swap in with Squirey as support especially if you can find a way to get Taunt on him, or other move that forces the target to attack a specific user. In Carniviper, also another glass cannon of sorts, but is poison type, granting him strength against plant, and that's pretty much it, but making him vulnerable to fire types as well. Stat-wise, it is a fast mix attacker with low defensive stats, meaning that, similar to Spring Heal, it moves fast, it can get a lot of hits in, but it's not going to be able to stand up to the follow-up, so, take him out first. Gaining access to a really powerful poison-type attack and Toxic Stab very early on. Carniviper can be I won't say sleeper hit because, his skills are pretty apparent even out of the gate. All in all, I do recommend working with Carniviper if you're looking for some form of offensive power, and Spring Heal just doesn't cut it for you, either type-wise or aesthetic. Alright, we are going to smack him, focus primarily on the tanky guy. Admittedly, I probably should focus on the squishy one, but overall, we get some pretty straightforward. Wait, Sonic Boom, we'll do it this way. Carniviper is going to use Raise Arms, which increases ranged attack. Carniviper is very squishy, as you can see. Candevil learned Raise Arms as well. And of course, you know him, you love him. Traffic Crab, everyone's favorite traffic cone. Surprisingly not as bulky as you would think given his appearance, however, it does manage to have fairly decent offensive stats early on, and as well as some pretty effective move variety, gaining access to both fire and water moves through its normal level ups. However, it's also slightly slower than other creatures around it, so it tends to move last in a turn. However, learning Undertow as its final move, as well as Traffic Jam, it can be an effective disruptor, and later on evolves into things that can withstand offensive attacks of hard hitters, as well as typing allowing better coverage elementally. Overall, he's a good starter, pretty good later on, and also good for a very different reason. Alright, we're just going to focus on one Traffic Crab for now. Smack. He's going to smack. You know what, let's hit him with Bonbon Blast. It's a very hard-hitting move, it's just not very accurate. Alright, this switch apparently... Fuck off, crab. Okay, I guess we don't get a choice. We're gonna have to fight the crabs. He's using Traffic Jam, which slows down everyone else, including your allies, so be aware if you ever use that. I do plan on using a Traffic Crab, just not this specific Traffic Crab. Anyone else who's played this game knows exactly what I'm talking about, but for those who don't, no spoilers! There we go. Alright, let's fight this guy.
Okay.
We introduce the capture mechanic. Basic tapes. They're essentially Pokeballs.
Well,
When weakened, their essence can be, well, recorded to cassette tapes. We don't entirely know how it works, but it does. And that's good enough for us. We're a little rough. Let's see here. We're going to record the Dominoth. And we're gonna beat up this guy. Now, Dominoth, an air element monster with fairly above average stats across the board, with slightly leaning into range defense and slightly slower than average. Depending on certain factors, it can take a branched evolution, which will completely dictate how it plays. Overall, it's definitely more of a backline user, even with slightly higher defenses than your average mixed attacker. This one's worth the investment, though. I can recommend early on, get one. Depending on whether you evolve it at day or night, it's perfect for whatever you're looking for. And he just looks really cool with his little cape. Anyways, we've recorded Dominoths see themselves as defenders of peace, and spend their days patrolling the skies of woodland areas. The only thing that can distract them from their noble duties are bright lights such as lamps. Habitat what the hell you mean, habitat unknown? It's right there. Whether a recording succeeds or not is down to chance. However, several factors affect the probability of success. You know, your health relative to the target's health, how much damage you dealt to it while recording. There's something of an overflow damage that if you have it in a certain negative amount of health, it will increase your damage or healing recording rate. I'll get the right word eventually. Anyways, something to note is that if a recording whether or not a recording fails or succeeds, the monster will then be brought up to 1 hit point if it gets knocked below 0. As you can see, dealing more damage, increasing your stats or decreasing theirs are a good way to increase damage. It can't record it or be defeated, things like that. You know, basically what I've said. Stickers are your moves and abilities. You can transfer stickers between monsters. You can remove or apply them, so on and so forth. And stickers can be used and abused however you like. Now, certain monsters can only use certain stickers. Well, with the introduction of sticker combination or sticker fusing, and the coveted can be compatible with any type rare modifier, pretty much anything is fair game if you're lucky enough. When I do the bios, I'm going to just go over their base abilities and some notable stickers they have, obviously. If there's like a really good sticker I want them to have or use, I will add them, or I will mention that. But again, you have to be lucky with rare modifiers. Anyways, this here is Dominoth. As you see, we switched over to
Right.
Dominoth is a wind element, or air element, so another thing to note about moves is that there are 2 categories, typed moves and typeless moves. Typeless moves like Smack, Spit, Elemental Wall, things like that will take on the type of whatever the user is. This can be useful if the move by chance, if the type you're using doesn't necessarily have any useful abilities in that particular, or useful damage. I'm rambling again. Like I said, I'm sleep deprived and hungry. Alright, we've got Zephyr, which is a pretty basic ranged, empowered ranged attack. And Sirenade gets Provoke, poison type status effect move, which causes all the moves to target specifically her, or it. It can be useful if attached to a tanky monster. What is happening? Some monster forms give us extra abilities when we record them beyond just being able to take their shapes. Don't panic. You can now hold spacebar to glide long distances. This consumes your stamina.
Sorry.
Probably should have warned you, but I thought it might be a little easier to show you. We can use this glide to get across the gap right here. Ooh, we get more traffic crabs. There's one rare encounter here, and if I don't encounter it in these next few spots, I'll probably just put the bio up anyways. Because it's a pretty neat little critter to have. Okay, we've leveled up once. We get Bite. Bite is like part and parcel to any, or bread and butter to any beast type monster, because it's pretty much one of the only healing moves. It's a really powerful move and heals the user, so... Anyways, we'll take out Spring Heal first, because... Actually, why am I taking... I want to record. I should probably record, now that I think about it. Well, fuck. Actually, never mind. It hit anyways. Now, walls are a cool mechanic. They absorb incoming hits and can be affected by elemental changes, so, or elemental reactions, which once I actually get a new elemental monster that can use elemental reactions, I'll show you. Spring Heal. I like Spring Heal. It's a good overall well-rounded monster to have. It's very, very speedy. Let's see if we can get Traffic Crab in here too.
Recording.
I'll just punch those plastic bricks. God, do you know how painful that would be, punching like a Lego wall?
Got it.
Traffic Crab. The Traffic Crab cone isn't actually part of its body. It is merely a traffic cone that is washed up on the shores of New Wirral. It has been occupied by other creature. It is said that in the past they would instead find other objects to live inside. Now, Traffic Crab is a plastic element, so as you can see, we're starting to get some more variety in our elemental types. And surprisingly high stats for a first stage. Alright, we smack, we spit. Alright, we've got two more team members. Dominoth gets Wallop, which is basically just a stronger melee attack. Jump Scare has a chance to cause the target to flinch, useful on someone speedy like Spring Heal. And Elemental Wall, which is what we saw him just use. Now, Elemental Wall will specifically change... Ooh, there's one! There you are, get back here. This here is Palm Bomb. Palm Bomb is a speedy special attacker, counterpart to Spring Heal's physical attack and Carniviper's mixed attacker. Palm Bombs learn several good ranged attacks as well as access to the support move Dog Ears, which extends the duration of any status effects that are currently affecting whatever you're targeting. Also gains access to Sticky Tongue, which, similar to Bon Bon Blast, lowers the target's evasion upon hitting, making it useful for setting up for your allies. Also, being a fire type, it is strong against metal, plant, and poison, but weak against earth, water, and wind. And besides, who can say no to that cute little face? As you can see, our first elemental reaction. Air-type attacks blow out fire-type targets, reducing the strength of their attacks. As you can see, air extinguishes fire. Ew, he licked me. Well, who am I kidding? It's a puppy. Who doesn't like being licked by a puppy? Alright, we're gonna need a new tape before too long.
Recording.
Okay, good, he missed.
Got it.
There we go. Oh, look at that little goofy boy. Pom-bombs are universally considered to be one of the friendliest creatures on New World. If it weren't for their habit of accidentally setting everything on fire, they would make quite good pets. Alright, as you can see, we're getting a nice little proper team going here. I need one more tape. I want to catch a Carniviper. Alright, we've been recording for a good long while. I think we made some progress. We beat up the local wildlife, recorded a few new ones, and also figured out where the hell we are. So I'll save for this and see you guys all next episode.